Simon. The next speaker is Angelica Warren. She is a young cancer survivor who came to us very similar with Simon. She's very passionate about it. Her story is very compelling. I'd like you to introduce Angelica Warren.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Angelica Warren. First, I'm going to start off by telling you guys a little bit of my background and history of why I'm here today. In October of 2008, I was diagnosed with a megaglioblastoma, which, as you know or don't know, it is a large brain tumor. It was the size of an apple. The people at the ER told me they weren't sure how I was breathing, how I was living at the moment, because they said it was impossible for that tumor to be that big and me to be standing and talking. After that, I went through a 13-hour surgery at OSU. They couldn't remove all of the cancerous tumor. I completed 45 days straight of peacock radiation, chemotherapy. After I did that, I completed 2 years of chemotherapy, which I did 5 days per month. The tumor eventually grew back a little bit, of which then I did the gamma knife radiation. The chemotherapy that I was doing, it drained my body of life. I mean, it made me so sick. I didn't even know how I was going to go on. The only time I left my house was to do the radiation. I remained in bed. I hardly spoke. I had no energy left to fight anything. I never smiled. I was miserable. They prescribed me anti-nausea medication. It worked for a couple hours, but it didn't hold anything down. A friend suggested I try medical marijuana. After trying it skeptically, I voluntarily got out of bed for the first time in months. I got out of bed with a smile on my face. My mother actually cried when she saw me. She saw me smile, and it was hard. I actually had life in my eyes. For one of the first times I ever saw my mother cry. For the first time, I also had energy to laugh. I hadn't laughed in probably 6 months. I mean, like I said, I was drained of energy, completely miserable. Now, after I tried the medical marijuana, I wanted to eat. I hadn't wanted to eat for, pre-surgery. I was basically, not being forced to eat, but I knew if I didn't eat, there would be some consequences. Of course, after that surgery, it left me with only one medical issue: epilepsy. Having epilepsy, it's not a fun thing. I took 3,400 milligrams of anti-seizure medication every day just to keep myself from not having any seizures. In late 2011, I became curious after reading many published articles on medical marijuana and the treatment of epilepsy. I gave it a shot. I slowly lowered my daily milligram intake, and within a couple of weeks, I was off of all of my medications. I have now been off of my medication for 2 years, and I haven't had one seizure since I've taken myself off of my medication. Medical marijuana can alleviate pain in the sickest of sick people. There are so many people lying in hospital beds and at home suffering just as I once was. I struggled and fought for my life. I'm here today to fight for each and every one of these patients who are too sick and weak to fight for themselves. Thank you.